You have to be really disciplined and dedicated. If you are not those two things, it's not going to work.
In terms of being a section leader.
Yeah, it's not. You have to be like, and if it's something that you want, you have to. You have to put certain things aside just to reach where you want to reach, right? With being a section leader, like I said, it's been almost a decade, and like, look where I've came from. Like, I've been through a lot of craziness, you know what I mean, to reach to the point where I am today, where our brand is actually doing very well. Our designs have developed a lot. So yeah, like, I would just say for anybody trying to get in, just keep your eyes on the prize and just focus. Don't think you know everything, because it's okay not to know everything. You know what I mean? You can learn and apply that to whatever your journey takes you.
So I'm here today with Christel.
Hi.
Section leader. Well, co-section leader, right?
Yeah. One and a half. There's two of us.
Crave the Extreme.
Yes.
You know, the whole time I thought it was Craved Extreme.
Really? It's Crave the Extreme.
When I'm reading it on Instagram. Christel has been a section leader for almost a decade or over a decade here in the Toronto Carnival scene. Mm-hmm. So can you just tell me a little bit about how you got started as a section leader?
Ooh, okay. So basically, I had an opportunity. I used to actually sing before. So I used to like work out of the studio with like a mentor, and basically he got an opportunity to actually help. I think it was like assist or like kind of like a co-band leader type of thing. So he needed people to make sections for him. So him and an old friend of mine actually took on the role. And what happened was it didn't really turn out to what we wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. But we ended up joining another band called Fantasia at the time. So that was like 2015. I think it was 2015. Yeah. So we ended up bringing the sections that we were supposed to bring with him to Fantasia. So we kind of just morphed all of our sections into one, because obviously, it was kind of late. And we brought a section there. And then in 2016, we actually started our own band called Carnival Redemption. We were actually the youngest band in Toronto. But then that kind of fell apart, we learned from our mistakes at that time. It was really hard. You know what I mean? Like, especially coming in as a young band amongst a whole bunch of older people, it was kind of hard. But like I said, life happens. We learned from our mistakes. And then we joined another band, which was D-New Regulars. And we basically kind of like took over that. So what should I say? Like, we kind of helped the band leader at the time, and we kind of ran everything, and he was just like overseeing it. We brought sections there. That was kind of like our redemption from Carnival Redemption. So so
you had to redeem yourselves.
We had to redeem ourselves. Oh yeah, big time. We had to redeem ourselves. And then that was that. And then I kind of parted ways with my old friend, and basically Chantel and I, who I'm working with right now, we formed our own thing together. We were actually called Forever Carnival. I know a lot of people might know about Forever Carnival.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, we were Forever Carnival. We actually were still with D-New Regulars, and then that didn't work out. Not no bad blood or anything. No, yeah. You know what I mean? But
it's just funny seeing your facial expression.
Yeah, that didn't work out. And then we actually joined Venom, where we created Crave the Extreme. So that was in
Venom was like 2018 probably.
They came out 2018.
Something like that.
So then we joined them, I think 2019. I believe it was 2019, like right before the pandemic. So 2019, yeah. So we joined Venom. That didn't work out.
But it's all a learning lesson.
But it is.
It's a journey. That's why I asked you about your journey.
It is. Honestly, it is. Don't get me wrong. They were cool and everything. It just didn't work out. And then we end up joining Tribal, which we love. So, we joined Tribal Carnival, and then that's where I am still. We're still at Tribal Carnival. Shout out to Tribal Carnival. So just know that's the band. So basically we've just been creating from then.
So you were talking a little bit about coming in as like a young section leader in, you know, an environment where it's like a bunch of older people who've been in it for a long time. So like, how did you navigate that? Like, what was the situation with that like?
Ooh, I mean, it was hard because like, once again, like a lot of people know Caribana to be like this gate kept type of thing. It kind of is, but at the same time, I mean, if you want to become, let's just say like a section leader and stuff like that, I think the best way to come about it is to actually just, you know, sketch, create, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, eventually younger people are going to have to take over, and they're going to have to see your work, right? So I just say, create sketches, create different pieces, and then approach a band, you know, like show them, be like, hey, I'm interested in becoming a section leader. Show them your work. You know, the most that they can say is no, you know what I mean? But keep trying because somebody would take you.
So yeah, I had, you know, somebody reach out to me and they were like, they want to know how to become a section leader. But let me actually read the message that she said that somebody said. She said there was a comment. So she's referring to one of the videos that I posted. She said there was a comment that becoming a section leader is easy, and I disagree. I've reached out to many section leaders to ask them to mentor me, and believe me, they did not want to. One even said that section leaders may be reluctant to share their knowledge and that they are very protective of their craft. An elder from beep band name. I'm not calling out nobody's band.
Oh my God.
He said that I should forget about the culture when creating masks because it's a money business. I've even reached out to section leaders and even the leader of beep, but nobody is willing to help. So probably a clique thing. So becoming a section leader is not that easy, apparently. The only real place, I don't know why I feel nervous reading this. The only real place I see that I can be a section leader is with beep, since they have an application process and they give people a chance. So what would you say to that? Do you think maybe she just has the wrong mindset, or what would you say to that?
I don't think she has the wrong mindset because, like I said, it is kind of gate kept a bit. I think what the problem is because, I mean, where she said that it is a money making business, it really is. Like, you know what I mean? Besides the culture part, which is obviously important, it still is, you know, basically an investment, right? So, and for a lot of people, this is actually their bread and butter. So like, you know, how they look at it is like, okay, well, I've been doing this for so long, you know, I've built this foundation for my family or for myself, you know what I mean? So now when they see somebody coming in, it kind of looks like competition, which it kind of like, some people have the mindset of competition, which really and truly it shouldn't be about competition. It's just everybody expressing, you know, their love for art in a cultural way. But I mean, I hear where she's like, what she's saying with that, because it kind of is like that. But at the same time, what's for you will always be for you. You know what I mean?
That's what I believe too.
Yeah. So like, I feel like if she really wants to do this, she shouldn't stop. Like she should try. Like somebody's going to give her a chance. You know what I mean? But like I said, for me, like, I think for her to actually start, she should start sketching and she should actually create pieces. So that way they can
like
kind of
build a portfolio.
You know, yeah, like build a portfolio. So, you know, there's like, for example, social media, there's everything nowadays on there. You know, if she's looking for someone to make a wire bra, there's wire bra pages. You know what I mean? That people build frames or whatnot. You can go on Google and type in, where can I get feathers? And there's so many, like now you can find everything. When I started, oh my God, it was hell. Like people will not tell us where to go buy gems, feathers, and all those things. Like it was just so hard. But nowadays, like it's easy to find these things, right? And a lot of people, other than using the places that we have here, a lot of people use things overseas. So you can build your own, you know what I mean? Like your own little, what should I say? Like
custom look with stuff that you won't get here.
Yeah, like, you know, you could do that. And on top of it, not only that, but now if you notice, a lot of mass is different. You know, people are not using gems really anymore, or feathers and stuff. So you could just really be creative and use your own things. And the right person or the right band or whatnot is going to love your work, and they're going to want to take you on because they're going to look at it as like, you know, I don't know, their secret, their secret weapon or something. I don't know. Like, you know, like,
okay. So if somebody wants to start off as a section leader and they don't have the experience, but maybe they have like the creativity, come with some drawings or like kind of just start to build your portfolio. And bring it to what, like a section leader or a band leader? Like, who would you say they should talk to?
I would say a band leader, but you know what? Also too, another good way to try to get yourself in is try volunteering with section leaders. Like, for example, we're always looking for people to come help us out at the mass camp. So, you could always reach out to the section leaders and be like, hey, you know, I would love to help volunteer. That way you can actually see the process, because I mean, other than what you think building masses, there's more to it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of steps that people don't see. It's a lot of work other than just, trying to get in. It's more work beyond that, because other than just running your section, it is business. Now you have to actually put on your business cap and like, you know, you have to deal with money, you have to deal with budgeting, you have to deal, like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of things. Even like your products, like you're gonna have to know how to count per piece and all, like it's a lot of work. So I think the best thing to even do is actually volunteer with a section, so that way you kind of get a better knowledge of building mass, right? And then that way you can take that information and all those things that you learned, all the different techniques, and then put it into your own perspective and then create
that. And I've heard somebody else say the same thing too. He was saying like, yo, go, actually it was a few people when I went to a mass camp, they were saying, yo, you need to study under somebody. Like, don't just try to come and just do your own
like
thing.
You know everything.
But you know what? Even in terms of getting the exposure out there and just how anything works, like mentorship helps.
It does.
Like you'll see the things that maybe somebody's doing that makes sense. Like, oh, I would have never thought of that little trick or that tip. Or you're like, oh, I'm never doing that because that doesn't make sense. Instead of having to make the mistakes on your own, you get to see what somebody else has already built up. Like you said, maybe not everybody is going to be welcoming of that. But for those who are, you get to see what somebody else already built up, and you just get to, you know, stand on the shoulders of giants type thing, right?
That's true.
And so you were saying that there's a lot that people don't see that is like behind the mask, right? So what are some of the things that, you know, somebody might not expect coming in, just thinking about like a design perspective or an art perspective?
Ooh, many sleepless nights. Like that. I mean, if you're a person that loves your sleep, I'm going to tell you right now, if you love your sleep, this is kind of going to be like, you might just want to quit, because let me tell you, we've had some people come and help us and they're like, what the, I didn't know it was all of this. Like, oh my God. Like I actually like, and they give us our props because they're like, yo, I did not know that this is what happens behind the scene. Like, for example, for me, like when I started, I wasn't, you know, I didn't have any kids when I first started. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, Ari, and that was like 2017. And I couldn't just stop. Like, and I was in the midst of like preparing costumes for people to pick.
So you
know what I mean?
became pregnant while you had like after band launch? Oh my goodness.
No, I was pregnant during band launch actually. So yeah, like I was already pregnant. I was building mass. I remember the story. So one day I was in the mass camp building, and at that time I was wire bending the pieces for our section.
How far along were you at this point?
Far along, girl. If I tell you the story. So basically, I was working, and then one day I was like whining to music, and then the next day I literally gave birth. Like I literally gave birth. Like I woke up and I'm like, but she doesn't feel like she's moving. I was kind of feeling like, oh my God, she's not moving. Maybe I should go to the hospital. Yeah. Mind you, I had an OB appointment, and I was just like, I'm not going to go to the OB appointment. Just take me to the hospital, which was her dad at the time. And he's like, okay. And on the way to the hospital, just trying to check, you know, I started getting contractions, like out of nowhere. I didn't get contractions at home.
It's a good thing you weren't in the mouse camp.
I'm telling you, we zoomed to the hospital, and then they told me like, oh, well, guess what? You're going to give birth today. And I was like, wait, what? So then, I gave birth to Ari. And then like probably a week and a half, I was back in the mass camp with Ari, literally. Yeah. So
No. We needed a pause on that.
No joke.
So after I had my son, for like 40 days, I didn't comb my hair. Bro, I wasn't doing anything, guys. I was just in the house. I was wearing pampas, all kind of thing. Like I wasn't doing anything. So for you to go back in the mass camp like 7 days later, bruh.
Yeah.
First of all, I commend your dedication.
My family thought it was crazy. Literally.
I'm looking at you. I'm like, it's insane because I know your mom and like the elders in your family are like, no, you can't do that. You have to stay home.
The baby needs to be inside for. Yeah, it was a thing, but because like my mindset, like when I'm determined and I have a vision and a goal, like I don't care what it takes. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody can tell me nothing. I literally block people out and I just have this tunnel vision and I try to focus on the goal because at the end of the day, like I know I just had this baby. I still have to take care of myself and I have to take care of the baby. But at the same time, now I'm locked into a business. You know what I mean? And now I have to deal with people who paid their hardworking money. Yeah. So for me to just now disappear and leave everybody else, which, you know, they were still learning at the same time, I couldn't do it. Deep down inside, I could have been selfish and be like, hey, you know what? You guys are on your own. I have to take care of my baby. But I couldn't do that because at the end of the day, like I said, we've already came from, you know, our mistakes and I didn't want to have that repeat again. Right. And I was trying to build myself back up. We were trying to build our brand. So I just stuck it out and it worked out for me. Like everything went good and I was just like, yes. And then Ari became this mass camp baby. She played mass at 1 month. Yeah. Yeah. She played mass at 1 month. Yep.
I feel like I have so many questions to ask you. But firstly, I do want to say, like, when I was in my 4th year university, I was pregnant as well. And like, I was the exact same way, tunnel vision. Like every day I would come home, I'm like, yo, I just want to graduate. I just want to graduate. Like it just played over and over and over into my head. Thank God I was able to graduate. But like, yo, I commend you. Big up yourself. Like, honestly, let me tell you something. The girls who want to get it done will get it done. Exactly. It doesn't matter what happens. And it's like, I don't think everyone understands that. Like it's in you. Like it's just this where it's like, yo, I just have to get it done.
You have to be really disciplined and dedicated. If you are not those two things, it's not going to work.
In terms of being a section leader.
Yeah, it's not. You have to be like, and if it's something that you want, you have to. Like sometimes you kind of have to, you know, you have to put certain things aside just to reach where you want to reach, right? With being a section leader, like I said, it's been almost a decade, and like look where I've came from. Like I've been through a lot of craziness, you know what I mean, to reach to the point where I am today, where our brand is actually doing very well. You know what I mean? Even our designs have developed a lot, you know. So yeah, like I would just say for anybody trying to get in, just keep your eyes on the prize and just focus. Also, don't like I said, don't think you know everything, because it's okay not to know everything. You know what I mean? You can learn and apply that to whatever, you know, wherever your journey takes you, basically.
I hear that. Yeah. So your daughter, Ari, who's now 5 years old.
She's 6.
She's now 6 years old. Yeah. She played mass for the first time at 1 month.
Yeah.
She grew up in the mass camp. She almost was born in the mass camp.
Literally. She was sleeping in the mass camp, everything. Like I had her, I think, I brought like a playpen or something, but she literally was living in the mass camp with us. And even after, like so basically my partner Chantel is her aunt, like her blood aunt. Even when we were working together, when we started Forever Carnival, we were sleeping. Like people don't understand. We were sleeping in the mass camp. We were right beside Twilight. Big up Twilight. Shout out to Sanel. Like, you know, we weren't seeing home. Yeah. That was our home. We had the couch there, the bed, microwave. We showered next door in Twilight, brushed our teeth. Like people don't understand. We were working hard, like putting in everything, like our all. You know what I mean? And once again, the outcome was great from that, because at the end of the day, we were able to get things done. And like it's a lot. I can't even stress it. Like you would just have to come and see for yourself, because I mean, even up until this year, like people are coming into the mass camp at tribal there, and I have a bed, like a blow up bed under the table for my 2 daughters. Cause even my other daughter, like she was born in the pandemic, but as soon as mass started again and Carabana was on, she was in the mass camp as well. She basically grew up in there. She was in her playpen. I think she was probably about maybe like 7 months, 8, 9 the most or something like that. So she also grew up in the mass camp. But yeah, I have my kids sleeping in the mass camp, so I don't think anything's worse than that. You know
I remember you told me that she took her first steps in the mass camp.
Did. Yeah, she
That's
did.
crazy.
She did. I think she was upset though, because all the little kids were running around and stuff like that, and she's standing in her playpen like looking at them, and they're just looking at her, and then they'd leave her. So she was probably determined, like, listen, I'm gonna walk in this mass camp. She has
what you have in her.
Yeah, she's very determined, very, very determined. But yeah, they're in it too. And I mean, at the end of the day, like what I'm building is not only for me, it's for them.
Yeah.
Like, and right now, Ari loves it. Like, she's always playing with the gems, putting them in her pocket, bringing it home, trying to make this, you know what I mean? And then Khalees, she's doing the same thing. Like, she knows, like today we had a collar, which she's never seen in her life. Like, this was like back in the day, chloroplast, collar.
So
and
what is that exactly?
Basically, it's like, you know, those,
is it like the Titan kind of looking one? Like
it's like, you know when you go outside and you see people like campaigning and they have those posters in the ground?
No.
It's like, for example, when they had the election, you know how they have the posters and they're campaigning like liberals and stuff like that. You know that material? It's called chloroplast.
Okay.
So basically, they used to make collars, like the base of collars from that. So I have one of those at home, and mind you, she's never seen this. I've never used this around her, and she goes, "Oh, costume? You like my costume, Mom? You like my costume?" Like, wait, how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know?
She knows why it's my ass.
She knows. So that's just to show you, like, it's in her blood.
Yeah.
It's in both of their blood. So like, I just, at the end of the day, like, this is not for me. Like I said, this is just for them. And hopefully they, you know, they take it seriously and they also pass it on to their kids, you know?
I love that. So obviously there's times when it's uncomfortable having the kids in the mass camp with you.
Yeah, crunch time.
Like, what keeps you going? So just being like, well, I know you said you're determined, but like, you know, I'm sure you're like, they're kids, like they're probably crying sometimes and like demanding. Like, how do you manage all of that?
Oh, Lord. I mean, I have help. Okay. So big up to everybody in the mass camp. Everybody's like aunties and uncles and grandpas and, you know, grandmas and stuff like that. They literally, like, I can't just say that I do it by myself, because they actually help a lot. Like, they'll take the kids, you know, some people will take them for a walk, or they'll help in the back, or they'll just play with them. You know what I mean? So that helps me a lot. But other than that, because obviously they have to get their work done as well, like sometimes I'll leave them home, because it'll be too much. Because if I have a lot of work and I feel like we're kind of falling behind and stuff, like I need to focus, you know? So yeah.
How do you determine when you're on track and when you're behind?
Oh God, time. As soon as it hits,
there's like a certain date where you're like, yo,
or month, I should say, when it hits, like, let me see, like almost first week of July, you're just like, oh no. Time is, because listen, time goes so fast. Like, when you think you have like, oh no, you know, I have 3 weeks, you know, or I have 2 weeks, whatever. No, time goes fast. And like, let me tell you, you could be going like this fast, and then eventually you start to crash. Like, that happens to us. Like, our body starts shutting down. Like, there's times where I'm so tired, but like, I need to keep going. I'm like, okay, like, gotta do like 5 more, gotta do 10 more. And if I do 10 more, then tomorrow I could do another 10, and you know, I'll be on track. If I do 10 a day, then, you know, but sometimes your body crashes. Like, I remember this year, and this has happened previously, I'm like cutting the feathers, and then all of a sudden I'm like, not like knocked out, like I with the scissors in my hand, head down. Yeah, like my body just crashed because like I'm overworking myself, right? So
okay, they need help in the mass camp. Yeah, please, they need help in the mass camp.
We do. But I mean, we have our team, big up my team, because you know what, honestly, like without them, I don't even know what to say, because you know, because Chantal works as well, other than just working in the mass camp. Like, she has her own, you know, job. So when she comes from that and she comes and helps, like obviously she's tired, right? And if I'm there like basically almost 24/7, I'm already tired. So like it's two tired people working on costumes, right? But we do have some people that help us, like our mini team, but we still need hands.
And don't think just because she said it's two tired people working on the costume doesn't mean it's not going to come out good. You guys had the best costume. You guys had the best costume on the road.
No, I know a lot of people said that, but we have to put our all. Like we're like, if you see Chantel and I, like we're people that like to dress, like we like nice things, you know what I mean? For me, like I'm a perfectionist. It's very bad. A lot of people get at me like that. They call me gotta check with HR, like, you know,
the boss.
Yeah, the boss, like, you know, but it's not because like I want to be like that. It's just because I know what it's like to be on the other side as a masquerader. You know, receiving your costume, this is falling off, this doesn't fit, you know, all these issues. So I took that into perspective, and now I'm able to create a costume where I know like, okay, well, girls are going to complain about this, girls are going to complain about that. You know, there's this issue. For example, I have a small chest, so I know how to work with people with smaller chests. Chantel has a bigger chest. You know, so like she knows. So it's easy for us both to be like, okay, we know how to deal with, for example, wire bras. Wire bras is always an issue, right? But we're able to kind of, you know, deal with that stuff. So it kind of like, it works out. So we kind of just have like this attention to detail, that we want to make sure that everything is like tapa, you know what I mean?
Big up Crave the Extreme every time. It's so funny. I remember when I reached out to you initially, when I saw the costume in 2022 was the red and gold. I wasn't even gonna
Khaleesi.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna play mask that year, but I saw the costume. I was like, yo,
I want that.
I was like, yo, this costume is calling me. I've never had that happen to me before. I think I said it on a previous episode, but I'm so glad that like I followed that intuition, because now I'm still with Crave the Extreme. It's a Crave the Extreme thing for life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Honestly, big up Kiana, because honestly, I remember the day when you slid into her DMs. I'm like, and because I was so busy, I'm like, let me just voice note this girl. And then after it was just honestly from there, like we literally like clicked, and it was so good.
It was so organic too. I was like, okay, she's cool. I'm like, all right, let me send her the money. But you know what's so funny? Before I went with you, I had trauma from like a previous band in Grenada not delivering the last time I tried to play mass in 2019. I think a lot of people would have stories from that, but we're not going to name no names. So I was so scared when I had to like go try to play mass with somebody new. I was like, oh my God, like, are they going to deliver? Like I could just feel it. Like I already gave her my money. Like what's going to happen?
What do we do now? Yeah.
And then when I got my costume, I was so glad. And you had, I think her name's Sham. Yeah. She was the one who like opened up the box and she was like, here's your piece.
That's our girl.
Yo, I waited like maybe 20 minutes to get my costume. I was so glad. I was like, oh my God, the service was fast. I got my costume quickly. And it's just been a Crave the Extreme thing ever since. And I remember you guys were saying in one of your posts, like, when people play mass with you, it's like a girl club. Almost like everybody's like friends on the road in your section. It's actually true.
It is. No, because you know what? Like we're a vibe. Like we are a vibe. Like I'm not even trying to toot our little horn, but we are a vibe. Like, you know, we try to make everybody feel comfortable and at home, because we have a lot of masqueraders who actually don't play with anybody. Yeah. Right. And you know, for me, I wouldn't want to just play by myself and not make friends and stuff like that. So we try to make that, you know, a thing where it's like, okay, everybody's accepted. Who cares if you don't have a friend? You're going to make a friend, or you could be with us. You know what I mean? So we try to create this little family. And honestly, our family is growing because we've met a lot of people, and we're very grateful for them, because like you said, when you came in 2022. Yeah, in 2022, we still had people come from 2022 to play in 2023, and they're saying that they're going to come in 2024. So you know what I mean? Like, I just love the fact that we've created that space for people to feel like, you know, it's home, right?
It really does feel like that. Like the care that you guys give to people, and to make sure that they feel like they make sure everything's good. Like I see you guys like take that extra step to make sure people feel good. You know what I mean? So people notice those things. You know what I mean?
They do.
So they come back.
Yeah.
They come. And another thing, you know what's so funny? I was thinking about you today because this is a side note. I saw this guy post, it was some book. And basically like the excerpt that he was reading from the book was like, this lady, she's the author of that same book, but she wrote one before that. And she was saying like the pressure of feeling like she had to create another banger, like held her back in like the creative process. Like it blocked her. So I just want to say, don't feel like you have to make a next banger, eh? Just
but I have to.
No,
we have to.
No, but you will though.
Yeah,
you will.
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
You literally will. Just allow yourself to be in that creative space and to be inspired. And I know you're always sharing like your inspiration and stuff on IG. It's so cool to see how like your brain works.
Yeah. Listen, I always want people, like, it's so hard as a creative to like, especially when you're not putting something out, to get people to, you know, understand your your creativity or what's going on in your brain and stuff like that. It's just so hard. So like when you actually are able to express it, like, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. This is what I want them to see. Like, I love hearing the feedback, you know? So like in terms, like you're saying about kind of almost topping the costume. I mean, we have to. We have to, because you know what I mean. Like, you can't have one nice costume and then you don't have another nice costume.
No, but last year it
was nice.
Was nice.
Yeah.
This year's was nice.
Better. I think it was. This honestly, out of all the things that we've created, I was telling Chantel this. I'm like, I think this is our best costume. Like, you know, because I feel like, you know what it is? Every year we understand certain things. Because like, don't get me wrong, when we're creating costumes and doing our prototypes, like sometimes it doesn't work. And we're just like, oh my God, okay, so this is just a prototype. They go on the band launch for this. Okay, we kind of gotta fine tune this. Like, we gotta change something so that it works. You know what I mean? Don't think that it's all bed of roses, because it's not, you know? We literally always have to be changing something about the costume in order for it to work. You know what I mean? Like, and on top of it, like, we love hearing feedback from people. So like, for example, like, let's just say you wore the costume this year and you felt like, okay, you know, maybe if you put something here or put something there, let us know, because at the end of the day, other than us wearing it, we might feel comfortable in it, but then you might not feel comfortable, right? Like, for example, like, we had a wire bra this year that had like it was like a V cut, right? It was very sexy and nice, but like after I wore it, I was just like, shoot.
It's stabbing you?
It's kind of stabbing me. Like, you know, like, I'm like, damn. But you know, like, I realized that, like I said, like, sometimes you don't know, right? Yeah. But for next year, I wouldn't even use that. I wouldn't even use that.
The one thing that I really liked about the design was how you guys attach the leg pieces to the panty. Cause one of the problems that I have is like the leg pieces falling off when I'm playing mass, and I just have to fling them off.
Me too. Me too. Yeah.
So if somebody is interested in like becoming a section leader or kind of learning more about mass, can they come to you? Like, are you open? Okay.
Come.
Where can people find you?
Oh gosh, we're at the Tribal Mass Camp, 3401 McNichol, Unit 8. Oh my God, don't come for me.
So when are you guys, okay, so how does like mass work in terms of designing? Like, you mentioned prototyping. So like, are you prototyping and stuff in the mass camp, or are you only in the mass camp for production?
Honestly, it's a bit of both. Like right now, for example, we are in the stage of making prototypes type of thing. Like, so basically kind of like pulling inspirations and creating things. So right now we're in the process of like, prototypes. So that's sketching and sourcing different things like materials and stuff. So that's what we're doing right now. And then after that, we have our photo shoot, you know, basically our photo shoot, and then we just basically get prepared for the band launch. So right now it's just sketching and prototypes. So currently, so
making mass is really like a year-round thing.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Okay,
it's honestly, you guys only see when the costume pops up for the band launch and for
in your box,
the grand opening.
like
that's
the day
it.
of.
Literally, that's all when you guys see the costume. Like right now, Caravan is over. You know, we know the theme and stuff like that. We are now in the works of getting things prepared. So it's an all around thing. And then on top of it, not us, but there's other people where they're doing different carnivals. So it doesn't stop for them.
Okay.
Right. So
would you guys ever do that?
Yeah, we actually got an opportunity to do something for next year. We're still kind of like, you know, but we've actually, someone reached out to us in terms of joining their band. So we're just like looking into that. But yeah, I honestly want to do this worldwide. It's fun.
Oh my gosh,
fun. I love it.
Well, the thing that I always say is like, it's a logistics business. So then I'm like, okay, if you start to go international, like you're going to have to like figure out where to do this or where to do that. But is it like when you join a band, like they help you? I'm guessing they would help you with like all their resources and plug you into, okay, this is where you go. This is what you do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know like everybody else's how they work. So like for us, we kind of we have our own thing going on. So other than us doing our in-house production, we also sometimes have to outsource. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but that kind of takes away the essence. Like, and I'm just going to be completely honest and transparent. When you have a lot, especially if you're doing a lot, right? Let's just say you get 300 plus masqueraders. That's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Because for example, you're tracing, you're cutting, you're like spray gluing or gluing, you're sewing, and then you're gemming. So it's not just like one process, it's a process. So imagine you have to trace, you get 300 people, you got to trace 600 pieces. And then after 600 pieces, you got to cut all those out. Then you got to spray glue the fabric. Then you got to sew all of that. It's a lot of work. And then sometimes it's not only just us. So like we have steps. So like we might just send it to somebody that sews, right? Because we can't do everything. Like we can do a little of everything, but we cannot do everything, because then that's when you start to fall short, right? Sometimes people have to outsource to China or wherever because, for example, they work faster, right? So you're able to accomplish more things within that time frame. So if they're, for example, working on your panties and your bras, you can now focus on your feather work, right? So sometimes like it has to go that way. Like,
is it ever like when you outsource to China, is it like Chinese sizing? So then there has to be like an adjustment made and like things accounted for, or like what is it usually like with sizes?
So basically, I mean, it depends on how that section leader works, right? Like there's some section leaders where they just 100% depend on the Chinese people, right? And I find that's when you mess up, like things are not accurate. But if you actually, as a section leader, like I said, it is a lot of work, because at the end of the day, you're still the designer. So if you make sure that your pieces are correct, so you give them the right sizing of each item that you created or the patterns and stuff like that, you know that your work is going to come back. And on top of it, they will show you samples or they will send you back samples so that you're able to determine if like, okay, this is a go or no, they need to fix that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it basically depends on you as the section leader / business person, how you're going to go about doing your business with them.
Okay, yeah. So just for anybody who maybe doesn't know how to get in, maybe they feel discouraged, what is maybe some words of encouragement or just some advice you would give to them as like a big sister?
Honestly, let me tell you something. Don't ever feel discouraged. I know we all can get to that point, but like, it's not going to be like that forever. You know what I mean? And one thing I always say is you basically determine what the outcome is, right? So if you are discouraged and you walk around being like, oh, I'm not, like you have this negative attitude, like, oh, I'm not going to get this, or you're not going to get it. You know what I mean? If you have like, if you're positive and you have high hopes for yourself and you put in the work, you have to put in the work.
Faith without works is dead.
Exactly. You know what they say, God helps those who help themselves.
That's right.
Right. So if you put in the work, you will see your success at the end. So don't ever feel discouraged. And I mean, if you ever need to talk to somebody, or reach out to somebody, try it. The most that they can say is no. Okay, on to the next. Try somebody else. I mean, shoot, you can hit me up, and I'm always giving people words of encouragement. So you can always hit me up. Literally.
So where can people find you and where can people find Crave the Extreme?
Okay, so you can follow us at Crave, KRAVED Extreme, XTREME on Instagram. And then you can follow me at C4 Creator, just regular creator, number 4 on Instagram. So yeah, you can find me on there.
Thank you so much for your time.
welcome.
I want
Thank you for having
I
me.
want to talk to you more again another time, because I feel like there's a lot that we could get into.
Yeah,
and this has
there's a
been
lot.
so much
Big up
fun.
my girl Kiana, okay? You better make sure you follow her page and keep up with her YouTube and her podcast and everything, okay? Please.
Thank
Because you know
you.
what? Honestly, and I was just saying this to myself today and like a couple days ago, I'm like, honestly, I love what Kiana's doing. I'm like, she's literally bridging this gap between our generation, the older generation, and the newer generation. So like, just keep it going, because like I can see this going very far, and this is what we need.
See, those are the words of encouragement that you give to people. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
You're welcome. Thank you.